Welcome to Wisdom Exchange TV, Ignite Excellence Foundation initiative in support of Africa Businesswomen Connected Summit, taking place right here in Ethiopia in 2013. Hello, my name is Suzanne F. Stevens, co-producer and founder of Wisdom Exchange TV. Wisdom Exchange is a resource to aid African women to learn, lead, and succeed in life, business, and community. Please do subscribe because we update a new interview every 2 weeks with new leadership lessons as well as new perspectives. We're with a very special lady today. Samrawit Moges is the founder and managing director of Travel Ethiopia. Travel Ethiopia started in 1994 and has 35 permanent employees. This is the first company in Ethiopia that has permanent female guides. I'm so happy to finally interview you after getting to know you a little bit. So thanks so much. And you're okay if I call you Sam?
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks, Sam.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, no, it's great, and you're our first expert in tourism. So we look forward to getting your insights. Now, out of all the initiatives, I mean, you have close to 700 employees, if I totaled them all up. Where do you spend most of your time?
In the tourism part.
In the tourism part?
Yes.
And how do you decide that?
When I graduated from the Addis Ababa University in 1982, my first choice was to be a lawyer. But at that time, you cannot decide what you want to learn because we were in the communist regime, and they put me in a foreign language literature where I studied journalism. When I graduated from the Addis Ababa University, I was assigned at the Tourism Commission at that time. It was a commission, currently it is a ministry. And they put me to an institute to teach. I said, no, I will not teach because I did not take any education course. So they put me in the National Tour Operation. It still exists. At that time, it used to be the sole tour company in the country. So I worked for that company. That was my first and my last. Fortunately, I had excellent bosses, and that institute was a training school for me. So at that time, private ownership was not allowed. I very much enjoyed my work. I like it so much. The only time that I get upset is to draw my salary, because that was so little. Mm-hmm. So that's how I came to be involved in tourism. And in 1993, my husband very much encouraged me to leave the government company and to come up with on my business. Because the communist regime fell down in 1991, and the current government came to power where we were allowed to have private ownership. So in 1993, I left the National Tour Operation and started my own business, which I didn't have confidence at that time that I would be able to make it. So I started from my bedroom, Suzanne. Then later, I took one room as an office and started working from the office, where in 1994, I got the first office. A very, very tiny, small office within the compound of the Gill Hotel, one of the government hotels. The day I got that office was for me like owning a big 10-story buildings. So that's how we started the business with my husband, who encouraged me a lot to have my confidence. As I said, we are involved with, yes, and we have formed Village Ethiopia and Freesia Ethiopia, Flora and Chancho. But I am mainly operating the tour part, where for the others, we have partners and we have got our own managers. The only thing that, I get report, I do report, I follow up on things, and of course, we do have a monthly meeting That's where I get mainly involved for the others. But the tour part, Travel Ethiopia, is from day to the evening.
Why did you decide to go into Flora and Horticulture?
It was the idea of my husband. Thomas, when he came to Ethiopia as a boy, his parents were given a land in the southern part of Ethiopia. And they started growing coffee, tea plantation. Huge place. And after they have invested a lot of money, when the communist government came power, everything was nationalized. So he has a passion for land, agriculture. So that's how we decide to be involved. He will come. Thomas is a very creative person. He'll come with very innovative, he'll come with ideas, and I will do the implementation.
Now, what was the easiest business to start, and why was it the easiest business?
Suzanne, in Ethiopia, I don't know elsewhere, there is no business that is easy.
Which comes to my next question. What was the most challenging to start, and why was it the most challenging?
You know, when we started our business in 1994, I told you I started from home. And through a connection, we have a friend who regularly comes to Ethiopia, a medical doctor, a Dutch. In fact, his money has gone to the investment where we paid for the decoration of our offices and sort of that thing. We were not having a vehicle at the time. So we'll take money from a client, invest it, that's how we grew. So he brought his parents to Ethiopia and they went to Harar. In Harar there is this Heineman where the Heineman feeds meat from his mouth to the hyenas. So that's one of the attractions. And while they were watching this scene, this was 1994, May 16, a hand grenade bomb was thrown and our guide died immediately. Imagine, we moved to that office. May 1st is the holiday, May Day. We moved to the new place on the May 2nd, and this incident happened in 2 weeks' time. For a person who's fresh, started a business, to face such incident, you can imagine that I had a call 11 o'clock in the evening. Thomas was not there. I did not sleep the whole night because I am the one to give the sad news to the mother of our guide.
From an economic or strategic perspective, which one did you find the most challenging?
You see, we have been in the communist region from 74 until 1991. So when I came to business, I started in 94, very green, didn't have any knowledge. So it's not only me, even the entire country is new for development, particularly in the private sector. Startup is not easy, getting loan. At the same time, advice on how to go on business. You have to get information from others. We did not do any kind of planning or strategy. The only thing that helped me, and I believe for the success, is because I am doing what I have been doing for a long time, and which I am also very passionate about tourism.
At least you gained some knowledge working for somebody else before you actually went out and did it yourself. And how much did you think that really helped you?
You know, I always tell to the young people in my office or whenever I have the opportunity, it's not money. You know, when I was with the National Tour Operation, yes, I was paid a very, very minimal salary, but I've gained a knowledge which I cannot buy in millions, and nobody's going to take that. Had I not been able to get the exposure, experience, knowledge that I have obtained with my previous work, believe me, I wouldn't be where I am now. So that has helped me immensely. And now, when you see the young people, if they are paid $1,000 at certain place, and if they get a difference of 100 birr, they will dump that place and go to another. But the most important thing, you get money. Yes, money is important, but the experience you get. And in order to get the experience, it entirely depends on where and whom you are working with.
And so the experience is the bigger currency.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Somebody now, if they want to go into tourism, be it young or wherever they are in their life, where can they get knowledge? Are there associations that you could recommend?
One, there are a number of schools, tourism schools in Ethiopia, which is very good, because people now tend to really get interest in being involved in tourism. Well, we used to have a very less number of women, especially in the tourism sector, also as a guide, because the challenge will not be as easy as for the male. But nowadays, the female are tending to be involved more and more in tourism. They are getting the knowledge from the school. But at the same time, after they get the training from the institutions, they will send them to various tour operators to get some knowledge, experience. So we we'll be very happy to give them a training where they will go as a trainee, accompanying client as a trainee, and that's how they get their knowledge. We are always open, and we certainly advise, and as for myself, I would very much like to encourage not only being a guide working for a company, but to open their own business. There is this young girl came, I know her father, and her father came and said, please give a work for my daughter. I said, what does she know? What I can do for her is I'll pay her education class. Let her go and study English language. So she attended evening class at one of the best, the Samrawit school. She completed, and then she started teaching in one of the schools. Then she came after a year and said, look, I want to join the Tourism Institute. You pay me, now I am getting a salary. I'll pay half, you pay half. I said, happily. So she completed from the Institute of Tourism. And one day, somehow I thought about her and I called her and said, when are you going to finish? She said, I'm going through. And in fact, she said, I'm going to come to you for office practice. So she came as an office practice. Then she worked for me for about 4 years, 4 or 5 years. She was the best. She made significant differences for her family. You'll be amazed what she has done from the income she got. But the happiest time of my life was when she got married. She got married to one of the guide, a Dutch guide, who came to Ethiopia accompanying groups. They fall in love, they got married, and they are in the process of opening their own company. So, I mean, this is a pleasure that I will never forget and cherish for the rest of my life.
And she should be part of your association.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, because that's the other thing, I guess,
Absolutely.
too, right? Where you go to school, but also now get involved in associations, like the Women's Entrepreneur Association, so you start networking.
This is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
You know, she said, now I have got a baby, but I told to her husband that she needs to join this association.
Yeah.
The networking is only once a month, but you get a lot of things from that meeting.
Yeah.
She definitely is going to join us, yeah.
You said that you really enjoy the tourism industry. What is it about it that really motivates you?
You know, all over the world, what do you know about Ethiopia? When people think of Ethiopia, you see, even recently, about the famine, about the war, but we have more than that. This country offers a lot and able to offer to the world so many treasure attractions. I don't believe in AIDS. I don't want the Western world to give us aid. like wheat, fertilizer. What we need is technology, where we can put that technology. And this will allow people to work. If you simply feed them all the time, we will not have a productive society. So what I believe is that through tourism, we'll be able to reduce poverty. And moreover, we are very much involved with the community. When you are involved with the community, the empowerment of women can. So empowering women is another thing that developing countries are using and reaching to a positive stage. You know, in the Afar region, the Village Ethiopia, in the Afar area, they will marry more than one wife, 3, 4, 5. And we had about 7 women in that area. This Afar woman, she has never seen in her life any European meal. But with a proper training, now she is the chef of the lodge. She is exemplary, she is paid a lot of money in the standard of the area. And when they see, her name is Karira, when they see that Karira is able to build her own house, Karira being a cook, although she is not speaking good English, but when the clients come, when they compliment her, she has motivated so many women. Mm-hmm. And when you see such kind of change, especially in that area, what we have done is anything you do, you need to discuss it with the elders. So early marriage, it is not totally abolished, but we have minimized it. Negative traditional practice like circumcision. So through a dialogue with the elders, this has been minimized. Once, one of the local guard had made something, and the elders called us and said, "We have punished this guy." I said, "How?" "Because he has done something great." And they said, "We slaughtered this pregnant cow." I screamed, "What? You slaughtered the pregnant cow?" And the elder person he thought that I was crazy. "Why are you screaming?" I said, "This is what you have done is a crime. The punishment needs to be done to the guy, not to the poor cow." He said, "If we slaughter the pregnant cow, he wouldn't be able to have a cow, he wouldn't have to have a milk." You know, we explained to him that this is not the way it needs to be done. He needs to be punished. From that time on, such kind of activities has been stopped.
I asked you why tourism. It really came down to changing at grassroots some of the injustices done to women, inspiring women to do more things. And really, Ethiopia and Ethiopians will empower Ethiopians. So that's exactly why we started Wisdom Exchange TV, for that very reason. And you're exemplary in explaining how what you do, how it does affect the grassroots, even though you're very successful in your own right. What would be some of the biggest challenges that you still have with business and managing the businesses and implementing the businesses, and how would you deal with them?
Most women, most business women in Ethiopia facing a problem is, you know, after work, we tend to go home because most of the time we are at work. If I have, time, I would like to spend it with my children. I'd like to spend it with my family. We don't go out and we don't network. Most male tour operators are much better in making networking than myself because they go to nightclubs, they go to bars, and network. I think it is the networking group, this is where it comes from. I believe this is one of the biggest challenge we are facing. It is now very recently that we give importance to networking. But networking is very important. Finance. A woman to get finance is not easy. Of course, whatever she has, her husband as well need to approve. Getting loan is not easy, you have to have collateral. But luckily, I give very much credit to Kawe, Mogus organization, who made it possible for mainly the Addis women, the Addis Ababa women, to get together network. And through her, the idea of bank, Innat Bank. Innat means mother. So there is a new bank called Innat Bank, which is going to benefit many, many, many women. Mm-hmm. The founders are women. The founders they are not into for their interest, so they will start from the grassroots level. An illiterate woman is not able to write up and come up with feasibility study. She doesn't know what feasibility study. So the bank certainly is going to assist in the future. Mm-hmm. What I'm really happy about the current situation in Ethiopia is things are getting much, much better. Mm-hmm. And I see a very bright future for women.
Taking your tourism hat, and rather than your business hat, can you provide some advice to people when they travel, some things that they should consider, what they should plan for, so they have a successful trip?
I think now traveling has become an international interest for anybody, especially after 9/11. I think people have opened their eyes to go out of their normal routine and see the world. So in traveling, the most important thing I believe is to know the culture of a country where they visit. In Ethiopia, one of the highlights are the churches. When you go to any church, you cannot go with shorts. You cannot go. The priest would appreciate if a woman will cover her hair. It is not an obligation. It's not an obligation, but this will make the visitors to be accepted in a positive manner. And when they take pictures, I think it will be very respectful to ask the approval of the picture whom they are taking. So if we take particularly the Ethiopians are very friendly people. They would like to talk to you, know you. People are very smiling. But in general, if we have a respect for others' culture, and I believe this goes for any kind of traveling. And nowadays, globalization had made information at the tip of our nose. There is the internet where anyone can read about. So this is the kind of, we need to have a respect for each other's culture. Mm-hmm. I believe this is very important.
How about for professional women traveling? I'm a businesswoman traveling to another country.
As a professional, of course, after if you are here on business, it's always good to have pre and post tour arrangements. I believe if you are in a new country where you have never been or visiting for a second time, it's always good to have 1 or 2 extra days within a country and explore as much as possible. Use the opportunity and try to explore any country you are going. I think that's very important.
How about any safety advice?
I will not name a country, but this is not being posted. Whenever I go there, I stay at the Hilton and I get a slip of paper saying that after 6 o'clock, don't go around. If you walk around at your own risk. In Ethiopia, yes, like anywhere else, there is pickpocketing. You have to be careful. But otherwise, I'm very comfortable to send my son to walk around, take a taxi without any problem. This is, believe me, the safest country where you can move around. You don't have to carry your camera like showing being a real tourist. Mm-hmm. but you can easily assimilate with people. And I recommend you to go around and see.
Looking at your businesses, you hire a lot of women. Do you do that on purpose?
We do have a number of drivers. In fact, there are about seven driver guides whom I'm working with together now from the previous office where I used to work for the government. So they are part of, it is like a family organization. The team is excellent. Tourism, you need to be very meticulous in what you are doing. There is no minor mistake. Any mistake is a major mistake. So women are very careful in such detailed things. So I prefer, and it has been proved that having women in the office, the accounts, the sales, is much productive than having men. Yes, we do have men drivers, cooks, but for the office, it is not because 100% want to have mainly female. No, it is the work itself that directs me towards that way. And of course, I also very much enjoy having women, because when you hire a woman, you are changing and making a difference in the society. When it comes to the flora, it's mostly a woman work. It's delicate things. Fortunately, the women are much better in picking up the flower, sort of that thing. So it goes that way. And that's why I like maybe the flower industry, because having a lot of women, and you see the positive change that's happening because of the work. You see people changing in their lifestyle, the way they dress, the way that they put their children to school. So why not? Yeah, why not?
So what other characteristics do you think that women possess besides being, detailed oriented and meticulous? Is really a similar characteristic if they're in the office or if they're dealing with the flowers. Is there any other characteristics that you think they have that help your business be successful?
Yes. Being responsible. In this country, anybody, especially the young people, if they got the DV lottery, I'm sure you know about DV lottery, the American give the green card.
Oh, yes.
There is DV lottery is going a lot here. And in my office, there are about 5 women who went to the States, got it, because they got the DV lottery. When they depart from Ethiopia, all of them did not go according to their schedule. Why? Because they felt that they should recruit and replace someone when they left from travel Ethiopia. Who would do that? Because they are responsible. One of the things that I very much like and appreciate is the responsibility that I have seen in women. So a woman's being responsible, a woman's responsibility starts at a very, very small, when she's very little, at the age of 5, she follows her mother. And I think that's how most women are being responsible. So I see being responsibility. If you come to the office, the office hour is from 8:30 to 12:30, then from 1:30 to 5:30. But I don't see them going just like that. People tend to stay behind. Sometimes when I go to the office during holidays or weekend, I see them doing their work. Nobody asks them to come. Nobody. But it's just being responsible, and that's the best way I'll be able to define it.
Do you see any challenges of managing women that may be unique to women?
This is a very good question. Recently, as much as I want to empower women, recently I have come across challenge That is, you know, in my generation, during my time, if a woman got married, have kids, it should be the woman 100% to look after the kids. But then at the same time, it depends also on the personality of the woman. I was under the impression that the new generation has changed positively in many ways. But the moment they get married, and I don't see family planning, at the same time when they got married and have children, they tend to incline, you know, to the kids, and they forget themselves, they forget their responsibility. I'm not generalizing. I'm not generalizing. There are women whom you see being responsible, being able to balance out in their lives. But what surprised me with the new generation, as much as they are trying to protect their rights, I don't see these things being implemented. And it worries me because, you know, we are assuming that we are going forward. We are trying to make responsible not only the mother, but the father also need to be involved. I don't think the father is against this, but the woman need to involve the man, the husband. In Ethiopia, you don't see most men in the kitchen. Most wives don't like their husbands to work in the kitchen. They feel that this is a kind of degrading. But on the other side, if they keep them this way, the husbands tend to go also assuming that this is not my job. This is the woman of the job, the work of a woman. But I think that needs to change. And this tendency really surprises, at the same time worry me, especially with the young generation. And I think this is the challenge, the challenge that I see.
You're saying the young generation, but the generation before, if we use a sweeping statement, if you will, if they didn't see somebody taking the initiative, if they always saw their mother in the kitchen, if they always saw their mother taking care of them, that's what they know. So it's a bit of a process. So they know they have to start working, but then when they work, and then as soon as they have babies and a husband, maybe the husband thinks they should stay home, and maybe they think they should stay home because they haven't seen anything different before them.
Economically, they want their work, okay? Because with only the husband's income, they cannot support the family. They don't want to stay at home. There is a program that they will be allowed, the maternity leave they'll get, you know, you give them half a day, you try to cooperate. But, you know, when you see in most cases when they try to protect their rights, they haven't learned this from their mothers. Mm-hmm. They haven't seen it in the past.
Yeah.
This is their own initiative. Why won't they do the same thing? Because I don't see the men being against it. When they go abroad, when they go to the States, when they go to Canada, Europe, lifestyle forces them, right? Mm-hmm. So if the Ethiopian men are able to do it in the States or Canada, why not here? And I'm sure if a husband, any partner who loves his wife, would certainly like to assist, don't you think?
It stands for making sure you pick the right partner.
That's true.
Now, do you initiate any team initiatives to promote collaboration amongst the team?
Yes, certainly. You see, as a managing director, I have to be exemplary in many ways. Mm-hmm. I cannot complain anybody coming late if I come late. But I'm there at 7:30. So I don't have any issue with my employees regarding coming late. Everybody is coming on time, rather ahead. We have retreats where we take our, people for a retreat. There is no hierarchy, meaning I don't consider as a managing director. They don't call me Mrs. Samrawit. No. They don't use the polite form. They address me like Samrawit. Just like you are the friendship relationship, and I don't want to be addressed that way too. I fully accept constructive criticism. We do have a weekly meeting. In that meeting, we discuss. Not only that, we also recognize. I very much enjoy recognizing and rewarding people. That it is not only for them, it motivates me, it inspires me. We pay for any class they go, if they educate themselves to the university level, what level? Yes, we educate them. And moreover, if they have any personal problems, we are always there. Suzanne, we have a very great guy who used to work for us. He was an excellent person. It has been how many years? I don't know, 8 years? He has got HIV. And we're still paying him his salary for the last 8 years. This will also is a kind of security for others, because they feel that if anything happens to them, Travel Ethiopia will not simply disregard them, but we will always be there through the thick and thin. So this is the kind of feeling that we have among the team.
My next question was going to be, but I think you've just answered it, is how do you create employee loyalty?
When I used to work for NTO, the National Tour Operation, I have learned a lot. There were apart from the salary, there were a number of things that used to disappoint me. How? I used to be a supervisor. I was on a supervisor level. And, requests come from clients. That request will come from the general manager to the deputy, then the sales manager, then it comes to me. Myself and my colleagues, will do the donkey work, and it will go on the name of whoever that person is. This doesn't give you any confidence. So, what I'm doing now is, if I have a new employee, we train that employee. In a month's time, we see his or her performance, and if we think we do have provide a mentor, and when we understand the state that he or she is able to do the communication directly, that person will send the email on his or her name. When that person see his or her name, and if that person give me if I take the credit of that person, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So it will boost the confidence when I was in NTO. And I remember how much I used to be excited in going abroad. The first time I went out of Ethiopia was in '84. So now we delegate our employees to go and attend trade shows. When you believe in someone and give and delegate and show the trust, definitely, believe me, I'm not saying out of the blue, but Travel Ethiopia is, I think, one of the company that sustains employee in the tourism industry. I say this with full confidence. We certainly give them commission. If I send someone, for example, to England, and if they bring a group, we give consideration. Mm-hmm. So you have to motivate someone. You have to delegate someone to have trust, to have loyalty, at the same time interest.
Something that I've trained a lot of organizations is, there's money motivates, but it doesn't keep people there. It's the emotional elements, and recognition is one of the most important manager techniques to keep people engaged in your organization is recognize them. And the rewards of sending them as an ambassador of your organization definitely gives empowerment. So kudos to you, because those are techniques that definitely have worked.
And most of the time, people go, when we send them to the United States, to UK, wherever, people stay behind. They won't come back. In my organization, nobody has stayed behind. So we have the credit from the various embassies where we are not having any problem in obtaining visas.
You've mentioned that your husband's a big supporter of yours. And can you tell us how your partnership has assisted you in your success?
The contribution that Thomas has made in my life is tremendous. Thomas has been in this country quite for a long time, since 1950. He knows the culture of Ethiopia. He has the European mentality, and that combination has created something positive. I believe in God. I've got an excellent mother, a very strong woman. I lost my father when I was very young. So when I talk about my husband, sometimes I ask myself, where would I have been right now had I not met Thomas? This is, most of the time it goes to my mind. He was the one who introduced me to Rotary Club. I said no, I was afraid to meet people, to talk to people. But Rotary, when I started joining Rotary, I hate going to that club. As you may know, Rotary, until 1989, women were not allowed to join Rotary. So in 1989, that women started joining Rotary, and people were not keen in having women in their club. So it took them like 6 months to endorse my membership, while for others, in 1 month, they could have endorsed it. The more I see the challenge, the more I started to be driven that I will show them who I am. Where I became the first president, the first female president in the country in 2001. Thomas gave me the self-confidence that I am able to make it. Had it not been for him, maybe I wouldn't be able to come up with Travel Ethiopia. So what I always say is that he's the force behind it. In Ethiopia, things are changing nowadays. When you talk about yourself, sometimes you don't know yourself, you don't know who you are, because you don't talk about it. It is considered as being, as you are bragging about yourself. But nowadays, when I see it, it's not bragging. It is, you have to shine in order to attract others. It is an inspiration. That generation, my children, need to have someone as a role model. They have to look up to someone. This is what I really want, especially, particularly Ethiopian women, to understand. It's not bragging. The more we talk about ourselves, the more we share our experiences, the more we create positive-minded people, especially for women. Because when I used to work for NGO initially, I will not look into the eyes of the clients. You don't have to look down. And I remember a couple of clients asked me, I didn't realize that I was not looking them into the eyes. But now I understand that this is a cultural difference.
The one thing that is the most significant to you that helped you achieve your success?
Being persistent, not taking no for an answer. This is what put me today where I am. Being persistent is very important in this country.
What I call my edginess segment. If there was something that you've had to do to achieve your success, something that made you uncomfortable, but you had to do it to achieve your success, what would that be? What would be that uncomfortable thing that you had to do but you wouldn't be where you are if you didn't do it.
During the communist regime, women at certain stage, there come a kind of regulation that women are not able to take taxi in the evening and should not be seen with foreigners. I am dealing with foreign clients. This was the time also where I was also working with NTO, with a national tour operation. And people will look at me as if I am a prostitute. It's this is something that degrades your personality. People look at you in a very different way, as if you have done something. And on top of that, I'm married to a white person. Where will that put me? So, one, it gives you a kind of being dependent on others. The guard, when you enter a hotel, will stop you and say, he can go, but you are not allowed. Why? Because you are with a foreigner. There was a time that I need to show my ID, that I am a government employee, not what he thinks. And I said, even if I am a prostitute, I am buying a cup of tea here, a couple of drinks. Don't I have a right? There was a time where he even tried, to put on force. But that didn't stop me. Wherever I go, I fight. I pass my message. But nowadays, that doesn't exist.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. If you were to define leadership, how would you define it?
A leader needs always to have a room for improvement. We always learn. A leader needs to accept criticism, constructive criticism, and need to believe in the colleagues that the person is leading. And last but not least, delegation is a leader needs to believe in delegation. This is very important for me.
So if there's one thing you would do differently in pursuit of your success, what would it be?
Well, you see, there are a number of things that I would love to do, but circumstance won't allow. In Ethiopia, there are a number of elderly people, let's call them retired people, which I strongly believe the country would have used as a resource for people. These elderly people are not utilized. They are staying at home, doing nothing. Maybe even they're frustrated. Most of them, they don't have anyone to look after them. I would have loved to use this resource as much as possible, and would very much like to take care of the elderly people who do not have anyone to take care of them.
I think there's a tourism idea in there somewhere. But anyway, meeting the elders of Ethiopia, and the insight that they possibly could provide. Because you're right, they have a lot of insight and people don't tap into it. What is next for you?
Next for me, I am really working on a project that I think is very important for me, for Ethiopia, for my children. I would love to work on the biography of Thomas, because he has been in this country since 1950. He was here during the emperor time. He was here during the communist time. We are here now during the current government. A personality that speaks 9 languages, who is very passionate about Ethiopia, knows Ethiopia more than any Ethiopian, including myself, will be a great asset for the country, and that's my project.
Excellent. What words of wisdom would you give to your 12-year-old daughter?
I always say that, I wish she'll get a person like her dad. And I tell her always, don't follow your mind, follow your heart. Because here I am today, following my heart, not my mind. And I'm happy for making that decision.
Now, what words of wisdom do you wish you had when you were 10?
My God, coming back to my daughter, I always tell her that I wish I had someone to guide me, like you are getting this opportunity. I would have been somewhere. This is what I always tell. So I would say that use the opportunity. Use the opportunity and educate yourself as much as possible.
To your life today, if there was one thing that could change, how you run your business, anything, would there be anything you would change?
The only thing that I would like to change, I would like to see, is that Ethiopia coming out being considered as one of the poorest countries in the world, and to see Ethiopia being one of the top destinations in tourism, where I'll be able to see being Ethiopians in a better economic standard. Not to see many poor people begging in the city. And believe me, if we are going to use tourism, we will reach there.
Excellent. So what words of wisdom would you like to impart to African women?
Well, what makes African women very different from other women? In Africa, I think circumstance has made us to be strong. How many women are able to get a tap water? They have to, if we take the majority, African women have to walk long distance to carry water, to carry wood, then cook. In certain cultures, even in Ethiopia, there are certain cultures where she's forced to deliver her own baby. So African women get their strength through the difficult life that we are facing. And we'll get somewhere. One day, the African women will reach where they aspire to be, and we will.
Another great interview from a tourist perspective, but really truly a leading lady. Samrawit gives some great words of wisdom and some insights. My name is Suzanne F. Stevens, and I'm co-producer of Wisdom Exchange, along with my husband, Michael K. Ginrich. We're traveling all over Africa, interviewing women that are leaders, trailblazers, and pioneers in various industries in politics, philanthropy, education, and of course, business. So if you know a woman that we should interview, please email us at info@wisdomexchangetv.com, and we'll research them and make sure they fit our criteria, but we will travel to them and call them out when we're in their country, so please do let us know. Also, if you work for an organization or own an organization that would like to tap into the top tier women, the real change agents of Africa, which are business women. These women are going to be at Africa Business Women Connected Summit in Ethiopia in 2013. Perhaps you'd like to sponsor them, sponsor the event, or if you'd like to sponsor Wisdom Exchange TV, please again email us at info@wisdomexchangetv.com. And I'd like to leave you with my words of wisdom. You can travel the world as a tourist, or you can travel the world as a visitor. And as a tourist, you just see the highlights. As a visitor, you meet the culture. And my husband and I have had the opportunity, and we'll be in Ethiopia for the month, but we've had the opportunity to really meet the people. And without coming to Ethiopia and not getting to know the people, you're really missing Ethiopia altogether, as beautiful as it is.